Hello, I'm back. And I'm here to talk to you guys literally about one of my favorite things, and that is style. I often get the question of where do you find your clothes? And I feel like it's one of those questions that's like the middle of the story, or even closer to the end, quite frankly. It's not really the question you want to ask, right? The question you really want to ask is, how are you gardening your style? And that's the question I want to ask you. How are you gardening your style? Where are you finding your pieces? How are you falling in love with your closet? I know for me, it's a multitude of things, right? We think about today and we think about all the different styles and cores that they have, right? And you're like, how do people come up with a style? Well, I'm I'm going to go with saying that traditionally, right? Style was created through small units of people who did functions together, right? An example, ballerinas did ballet, went to the studio, had to have wraps, had to have tights, had to have leotards, right? And now there's ballet core, it's leggings, it's light pinks, and these are all colors affiliated with ballet core. We also have like rope core, which is people wearing hiking-esque material. They wear salmons, they wear khakis, they wear nylon pants, and everything that kind of looks like they should be somewhere in the Appalachians. Now, mind you, half of those people wearing all that in Brooklyn are not going to end up in the Appalachians, right? They're just going to stay right there in Brooklyn, which is absolutely fine. The point is, style was created by small groups of people doing functions together, and not always daily, but frequently. That is how people ended up defining their style. Now, today, as I mentioned, you can dress however you want. You could be ballet core, group core, fairy core, whatever you feeling, however you vibing, you could put it on, right? So that asks and begs the question, is personal style dead? And a lot of people will say yes. I would say it doesn't matter. It seriously doesn't matter. And if you care that much about your style, I think that instead of trying to define style independent to you, I think you need to garden what you love, right? And let the style actually come to you. And like I mentioned before, right? I was like, yeah, people used to be in small units doing actions together, which is how they got all these styles and trends. True. But also, this means that most of style was functional. Do you know what I mean? Functional. I remember there was someone who tried to recreate a famous look. It was like a boot look at Coachella, and it was some famous style influencers, not influencer of today's term, but influence look that she did, like boots and shorts, and a girl tried to recreate that at Coachella, and it didn't work. And the reason it didn't work is functionality. The one thing people forget about style, personal style, is functionality. And why I say forget personal style, right? Because that makes us look at the middle of the story. That makes us go too far. We need to talk about gardening style. And when I say gardening, I mean putting in the soil, I mean tending to it, I mean understanding it, right? And that means buying a top that you'll wear over and over again. Now, I keep mentioning that it was small units of people working together, and you're like, okay, Mag, what is the point of that? My point is, the first thing you need to tackle is functionality. And I know a lot of girlies are like, but girl, I don't want my style to be tied into what I do daily. My job does not define me. What I do frequently doesn't define me. I am beyond what I do. And I totally understand that, boo. I totally understand that. However, right? Functionality does not just depend on where you work and what you do. I'm not saying wear overalls every day just because you're a gardener or a farmer. That is not my point. My point is, how does this outfit, how does this jacket function into your life? Because for the life of me, I can't grasp why, if you got to get on a train, ride it into Manhattan every day, why you feel like you need to be wearing heels. Do those train tracks? I mean, sometimes, you know what though? I ain't gonna hate, because some of y'all got it going on more than I do. And that's just the truth of that. Y'all got, because me, 10 minutes in, they're coming off. They're coming off, and whatever is there will be there. You know what I mean? So functionality, as in what suits your life patterns. What are you doing every day? How does that coincide with what you should be wearing every day? Because you want to buy things that allow you to wear it every day. As a girl who takes the train frequently in the New York City subway system, I have to have functional things. I don't believe in being silly and buying things that don't function with my closet. I don't care if I love it. If it doesn't function, we're not doing it. And when I say we, I mean me and you, bestie. We're not doing it. So, let me take off. You see me fighting? You see me fighting? Because, girl, why did I tie that so seriously? It's never that deep. I'm going to take off my jacket. I have on this green turtleneck. Plop that there. I was getting hot. But also, I want to show you guys my turtleneck. Now, this turtleneck may not seem special to you, but it does two things for me. It's warm. It's light. It's interchangeable with bottoms. It's a neutral for me in my closet. You understand? Right? It may not be a neutral in your closet if you have all hot pinks and whatever. But in my closet, it's a neutral. I need you to examine your daily parts. Are you someone who takes the train? Are you someone who drives to work every day? Are you someone who can afford to wear heels every day? Are you someone who can afford to really stick to sneakers and who should be leaning into finding things like that? People often say look for closet basics. I say look for functionality basics, right? What do I need in my closet, right? I'm a nurse. I don't want to have scrubs on every day, but what can I change out of from my scrubs to go getting drinks with the girls without having to stop at home, right? Questions you need to ask yourself, right? Because if I've been on my feet all day, do I really want to put on some heels? I don't know. I'm not a nurse. However, I would assume you want to put on some cute flats like these woodchuck tabbies. You see them? Yeah. And a cute top and some jeans and head out for some drinks, right? Something functional, something that makes sense. And then something that you can wear frequently, over and over again. Functionality is so important, and it's not just limited to what you do. It's also inclusive of those moments. Ooh, can you guys see me? It's also inclusive of those moments that include you being with your friends, being with your community, hanging out with the gals. All of it is included in functionality of your closet. It's literally not just what you do. I'm going to take it a step further and give you an example. Right now, I'm wearing jeans. Jeans are probably the one object I have in my closet too much of, besides shoes. I'm borderline a jeanaholic, a shoeaholic. I need to let go. However, the reason I have so many jeans is because when I first started working my first job, jeans were allowed. They were a part of professional wear. And so I got different cuts of jeans, first of all, to try them out. A lot of them were thrifted. Yes. Thrifted, I got a lot just to try them out. Probably not the best idea. However, today I end up having a lot of cuts and I know what works for me. I also sit and stand all day coding, doing work, and going from place to place. So I want something that's comfortable. I usually wear looser jeans. And I understand very quickly, and I understand very much that my style is a really good balance of what we call today femininity and masculinity, even though those things are very much based on biases, based on the system that has been put upon us, because who are you to tell me I'm not feminine or masculine? I digress. Either way, It's all about the balance for me. Now, for you, it's like, are you a girly who goes out frequently? Are you someone who stays at home a lot? What is the reason that you're trying to garden this style? And whatever it is, base it initially on functionality. You know yourself best, and you know that I shouldn't be buying this just because I know it's cute. I shouldn't be on TikTok shop buying this top knowing that I won't wear it. Eventually, we'll get into things like quality, budget, where to look for clothes that you need if you don't want to leave the house, thrifting, stores, buying things brand new if you are into thrifting. If you're like, ew, yuck. If you're like yuck about thrifting, there's other ways to go around it. Basically, my job is to help you define your closet and really garden your style. 1, without breaking the bank. 2, with starting with what you have. What is in your closet? What works for you now, today? What do you want to wear more of? And then we'll get into those little things where, who inspires you? Why do you like the look? And do you actually like their look, or do you like that they're skinny and they have long blonde hair and you want to look like that? Questions that are kind of like, am I trying to decide to really garden my style, or am I trying to become this person that I'm not? Style is really, 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 really personal, which is why when people ask, what's your personal style, Magli? How did you get here? I say, babes, that is the end of the story. There's so much more. And I want you to stay tuned for the next part where we'll go beyond functionality, right? And before we talk about beyond functionality, I'll talk to you about my actual outfit that I have on, right? My top is thrifted and it's 100% cashmere. Only the best for the best. My shoes are, I call it online thrifted, but they are woodchucks. And they are tabbies, and they're super comfy, and they're like a nude brown that matches with my skin. Girl, I love that. My pants, what are my pants? One of my favorite brands, and I can't even think of it. One of my favorite brands for jeans, which is Calvin Klein. Mainly because they do petite cutting so well. I am a shorty, y'all. I'm short.